Good morning. We'll call it Coffee with Lombardi, special edition, 49ers Cowboys week. And today we're here to talk about the 49ers. Their better matchup against the Cowboys than last season, even though Dallas, I think, is better than last season as well. But I think the 49ers have improved more. And, the 49ers Super Bowl hopes, because obviously we're in the playoffs. So that's the goal, is to make it to the Super Bowl. So I wrote this a couple days ago. Haven't had a chance to specifically talk about it in its own dedicated video, but the headline is 3 under the radar reasons the 49ers are better situated for a Super Bowl run. It's in the description, linked over there. And also I just put it into the chat section, put it into the comment section after this live video is over. But I, just wanted to keep it fairly simple, but big picture with the analysis. And this 49ers team, to me, they have played their cards not perfectly, but especially over the last 10 weeks of the regular season, they played their cards as well as they could have to set themselves up for a nice run. And obviously, the playing of the cards goes back to before then. This goes back to the offseason, addressing some weaknesses that tripped the 49ers up in last season's playoff run. Really, the 49ers have done their best to make their luck, right? You're going to need luck to win a title. So you can't pretend that everything is in your control, but you can maximize the odds of stuff falling into your favor. That's what I mean by make your luck. So I wrote a little bit about it right here, and let's take a look at the 49ers. 3 reasons, the more under the radar reasons, why they're better situated to face the Cowboys this year, and they already beat the Cowboys last year, and why they're better situated for a Super Bowl run. Now, there are obvious reasons, of course, right? I mean, we could talk about the 49ers supercharged offense, Christian McCaffrey, the fact that they're dealing with a healthy quarterback this time. By the way, this is a good stat along those notes. We talk about healthy quarterback this time for the 49ers. Look at this. Last year against Dallas, the 49ers had no problem until Jimmy Garoppolo suffered his second injury. Remember that Jimmy Garoppolo came in with one injury against the Cowboys. It was the torn thumb ligament. Look at the lower part of this text, though, right here. Before he injured his shoulder in the second quarter, when Randy Gregory took him to the ground, Jimmy Garoppolo was 11 of 13 for 133 yards, 10.2 yards per attempt against the Cowboys. After the shoulder injury, which we now know ultimately required surgery, Jimmy Garoppolo was only 5 of 12, 39 yards, a really bad 3.3 yards per attempt, and an ugly interception on the rollout to the right that kept Dallas in the football game. Garoppolo also missed some passes. That was part of this 5 of 12 that could have put the game away earlier. So the point here, though, is obvious. We didn't know that Garoppolo's shoulder was hurt until after this game. But Dallas could not stop the 49ers when their quarterback was only moderately injured. It took 2 injuries to the 49ers quarterback for Dallas to start slowing the 49ers offense down. And the reason that I bring this up is because in the big picture, we ask how much better are the Cowboys now? Well, the 2021 Dallas defense was ranked number 2 overall DVOA, number 2 against the pass, number 16 against the run. So a good defense last year, obviously. This season, Dallas again, number 2, number 3 against the pass, number 5 against the run. So on paper, the Cowboys this year are better against the run, but as you can see, even that number 2 DVOA defense last season could not stop the 49ers when they had a moderately healthy quarterback. And I say moderately because Jimmy Garoppolo, even without the shoulder injury, did have that torn thumb ligament. So I just think that the 49ers are better than the Cowboys. I think they've gotten a lot better since last year. That's what this piece is going to talk about, the improvements the 49ers have made that have been under the radar. And I think that, even if Dallas may have gotten a little bit better against the run, is that going to be enough to combat an offense for the 49ers that now includes Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, you name it? I mean, they've got so many skill position weapons. I've got a big piece on Brock Purdy coming out tomorrow, working as a point guard with all those weapons. I really don't buy it. I really don't think that the Dallas Cowboys have improved enough to keep not only keep pace with the 49ers, but also surpass the 49ers, because last year they were obviously behind the 49ers. And this year they have to play on the road against the 49ers. So anyway, I digress. Let's talk more about the 49ers. Here are the 3 under the radar reasons that we need to be talking about. 1, this is Shanahan's best offensive line, period. Kyle Shanahan has always prioritized run blocking over pass blocking. And maybe I should amend that to had always prioritized run blocking over pass blocking. Smaller offensive linemen, more agile, able to execute the outside zone because you have to reach hard spots on the field to block in that outside zone and to deliver the creases that Shanahan finds necessary for his run game. The problem is that most of the time, agility is inversely correlated with size, and size is obviously very positively correlated with strength, especially for offensive linemen. And to pass block, you got to be able to anchor. You got to be able to take on those bull rushers coming in at full force. So oftentimes, agile linemen aren't necessarily the best pass blockers because they're not as good as anchoring in pass protection. So we've seen a breakdown like this over the years with the 49ers pass blocking efficiency. Red is bad, blue is good. You could see this going year by year. 18, 19, and 2020, all in the red. 49ers ranking number 23, number 18, and number 24 in pass blocking. Obviously, injuries fueled 18 and 20. In 2019, they were decently healthy, but they did lose their center, Weston Richburg, and they fell below average. And a huge reason why the 49ers lost the Super Bowl was because they couldn't pass protect on the interior against Chris Jones and company. Well, around 2020, 2021, the 49ers are in a spot where you could tell they're trying to turn things around as far as pass protection goes. They traded for Trent Williams in 2020, who, by the way, is the big exception to the agility, size, strength, inverse correlation. Trent Williams is going to be a Hall of Famer because he's both huge, a good pass protector. He knows how to anchor, and he can move. So Trent Williams turned things around at left tackle. And I think Staley was good before him, but Staley obviously retired, so they had to find a way to replace Trent Williams. But every other position on this offensive line has also been revamped since then, right? Aaron Banks, the 49ers picked him in 2021. He's starting now, and Aaron Banks has only allowed one sack. Jake Brendel, the center, he learned under Alex Mack in 2021, and that learning is paying off here in 2022. The 49ers are getting excellent play from their center position and Jake Brendel, who's a Pro Bowl alternate. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle used to be a much better run blocker than a pass blocker, was a below-average pass blocker. Mike McGlinchey, for the first time this season, has been, over the course of a full season, an above-average pass blocker. He's added muscle, he's added weight, he's worked on his game, and he's improved a key weakness for the 49ers, a prior key weakness for the 49ers. And then there's the right guard position for the 49ers. That had always been the Achilles heel under Shanahan. They drafted Spencer Burford out of San Antonio, and they plugged in their very reliable sixth man, Daniel Brunskill, into a part-time role at right guard, not a starting role because Brunskill is better as a rover. So they've had a sixth offensive lineman whenever they've needed him. And look at this. The 49ers are now number 3 in pass blocking efficiency behind only Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. So Shanahan now has his best offensive line, and that's something that people are not talking about enough. Yes, the 49ers have a ton of skill position weapons. Yes, their QB is different this year, but also most importantly, he's healthy. Brock Purdy's healthy versus the two injuries that Jimmy Garoppolo had to fight through last season. But none of that would hold nearly as much weight if the 49ers were terrible up front. And for the first time in the Shanahan era, they're not only good up front, they are excellent up front. And excellence up front wins Super Bowls. The number 3 pass blocking offensive line, I cannot emphasize enough how important that is. And this is why the 49ers are bona fide contenders here in this 2022-2023 season versus the past where it was a little bit shaky for sure. No matter how good their defense was, no matter how many special moments they could deliver on either side of the ball, if that offensive line was a little bit creaky, oh boy, it wasn't going to be good. And last year they were even hurt. And I'm going to talk about that in one of the other big differences from the 2021 season. But they didn't have McGlinchey in 2021. Tom Compton was a terrible pass blocker. And then the rest of the offensive line was dealing with a lot of injuries, right? Trent Williams played the NFC Championship game on a high ankle sprain. So up front, the 49ers are much better this year, so much better that we can confidently say that this is Kyle Shanahan's best offensive line with the 49ers. We can also say that this is Kyle Shanahan's best set of cornerbacks with the 49ers. The cornerback position is I think that the stock is rising immensely entering this game in the divisional playoffs against the Dallas Cowboys. Deommodore Lenoir is still considered the weak link of the 49ers secondary and especially the cornerback position, but he's coming off his best game. He was excellent against the Seattle Seahawks. He ran Tyler Lockett's route for him. 20.8 passer rating for Geno Smith when targeting Deommodore Lenoir, who gave up only 2 catches and 16 receiving yards. Special stuff from Deommodore Lenoir, who took to social media and talked some of his shit right after the game. Here are the tweets from Demo. Let's take a look. They didn't believe it the first time. Changed this to all caps. I'm the hyena. And then somebody was making fun of Geno Smith with Geno's old quote. They wrote me off. I didn't write back. But then he attributes it to Deommodore Lenoir. And Lenoir quote tweets it, says this is the tweet, laughs a bunch. But Deommodore Lenoir was playing with some confidence. I noticed that some of that confidence started burgeoning when he made a nice tackle on a screen pass late in the game against Arizona in week 18. And then obviously he's now just bubbling, brimming with confidence after the big interception and the big game against the Seattle Seahawks. So they say that you're only as good as your weakest cornerback. And if Deommodore Lenoir is playing at the level that he did against the Seattle Seahawks, who have some good wideouts and Tyler Lockett and obviously DK Metcalf, well, then the 49ers are looking A-okay at that cornerback position. Certainly a lot better than last season when they didn't even have Charvarius Ward yet, their big money corner. When they were running Ambry Thomas out there, obviously Ambry Thomas was playing better football last year than this injury-plagued campaign when Deommodore Lenoir has leapfrogged him on the depth chart. They had Emmanuel Mosley last year, but he didn't have a good NFC Championship game against the Rams. And, if we want to expand this to the nickel position, K'Wan Williams wasn't good against the Rams last year. I think that was the game. He might have been coming off of the COVID list in the NFC Championship game. And K'Wan Williams definitely struggled in that game against Cooper Kupp and company. This year, Jimmy Ward playing better, irregardless of the bad penalty, the personal foul penalty at the end of the first half against the Seahawks. So anyway, the 49ers are better at corner, especially if Deommodore Lenoir is on this type of trajectory. And before I hear complaints about Charvarius Ward, Charvarius has been excellent this year. Really good pickup for the 49ers. Shut down DK Metcalf twice. Boo-hoo. He gave up a 50-yard touchdown. If you did not expect DK Metcalf to register at least one big play against the 49ers in 3 games, then you do not know football. And there's a lot of people that don't know football. That's the unfortunate reality. I think a lot of them are on social media. But, this is an aggregate evaluation as it should be because good players get paid to make big plays. Charvarius Ward is a good player. He's made a lot of big plays for the 49ers. DK Metcalf is a good player. He's made a lot of big plays for the Seahawks. Guess who won that battle over 3 rounds, right? Over 3 rounds, not just 1 round. It's like a boxing match. There are several rounds, then we declare the winner. Who won the Charvarius Ward, DK Metcalf battle over all 3 rounds? Indisputably, Charvarius Ward won that battle. And then his team, as a result, largely of that, won all 3 rounds as well. All right, moving on to key number 3. By the way, it's all in this article right here. Going to put this up on the screen. 3 under the radar reasons the 49ers are better situated for a Super Bowl run. Key number 3, or reason number 3, the 49ers are much fresher and healthier now. This is the biggest night and day difference, in my opinion. It's underscored by the fact that Dallas is going to be playing on a severely shortened week going from Monday to Sunday, and the 49ers have a lengthened week going from Saturday to Sunday. So there's a 2-day advantage for the 49ers there. But just consider the macro here. The 49ers played 12 road games last season. That was an NFL record. At the end of those 12 road games, they started playing a bunch of elimination games also on the road against the Rams in week 18, against the Cowboys in Dallas wildcard round, against the Green Bay Packers in a Lambeau Field ice storm, and then obviously against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. The 49ers were beaten up. I talked about Trent Williams' high ankle sprain. I talked about Jimmy Garoppolo's 2 separate injuries. I talked about the fact that McGlinchey was done for the season. There was a whole lot more than that, but the 49ers were beaten up and they were in no position to aid their recovery because they're getting on cross-country flights or just flights in general every single week. And then they were going to an ice storm in Lambeau Field. That's not good for muscle recovery, playing in that cold in Lambeau Field. So the 49ers were just on a marathon grind last season that was really, really tough to navigate. And they eventually ran out of gas. I'll say this. I don't think, and I think I'm 100% right on this. The Rams didn't beat the 49ers last year. The 49ers lost to fatigue. The 49ers got worn down. That's why they were ahead against the Rams late. I mean, if the Rams were better than the 49ers mano a mano straight up, they would have beaten them one of the other 20 times they've played over the last few years, right? But that didn't happen. The Rams were only able to best the 49ers in the final quarter of the 49ers' most exhausted state of last season. So, the 49ers put themselves in that position by starting 3-5, not getting stuff done at the start of the regular season, having to squeak into the playoffs. They put themselves in the position of exhaustion. So they made sure to avoid that this year by trading for Christian McCaffrey and winning 10 straight games to close the regular season. They got the number 2 seed. They got home field advantage through at least 2 rounds of the playoffs. And now they are going to be reaping the benefits because the Cowboys are the team that's going to be much more tired. The Cowboys are the team that's going to have to travel for this game. And the Cowboys are the team that's less healthy than the 49ers. They're already talking about offensive line injuries in Dallas. Jaron Kearse, their safety, coming off a knee injury in this game against Tampa Bay. The 49ers are in much, much better health position than the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm about to head down to Levi's right now for the first day of practice this week. And I'm going to have the injury report for you, and it's going to be really short. Juwan Jennings is going to be on it maybe as a day-to-day with his ankle, and Sansom Ebicom as a day-to-day. But I expect both of those guys to play. So the 49ers are in a markedly different position this year than they were last year in terms of freshness and health. And that may be the biggest key of all. Mike points out that Dallas hasn't played at home since December 24th, Christmas Eve. This will be their 4th road game in a row. So they're dealing with what the 49ers dealt with last year. I got to take to Twitter, put that up there. That's some good stuff. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Mike always coming in with the big stats. All right, so go ahead and check out the article. Subscribe to The Athletic. This is a good one to check out. The 3 under-the-radar reasons the 49ers are better situated for a Super Bowl run. Time for me to head down to Levi Stadium. It's a big day. A lot of updates coming today, video updates, footage from practice, nice and sunny weather, I think it should be. And then obviously doing the Candlestick Park show tomorrow. I'll be at Candlestick. So like the video, sub to the channel. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks again.